Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. Gentle, the mutant from Black Panther's homeland. Gentle was born in Wakanda, but his ties to the X-Men are far greater than those to his people. He is the first ever X-Men member who comes from a country that only exists within the Marvel Universe. Gentle did not acquire the mutant X gene, but he was born with it. However, unlike most mutants, his powers and abilities do not precisely make his life easier. Instead, it does the complete opposite by putting him at risk. The extent of Gentle's powers is so severe that it hurts his body, so much that he risks losing his life. But he is a superhero after all, and without any second thoughts, he always puts the lives of others before his. Now, you must be wondering what kind of powers these are that his life is on the line. Well then, without further delay, let us get right into the video and explore the story and powers of Gentle, the mutant from Black Panther's homeland. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The dramatic origins of Gentle. The character of Gentle was created by Craig Kyle, Christopher Yost, and Mark Brooks. He made his first appearance in the comic book New X-Men, Volume 2, issue number 23, which was published in April 2006. His story began as a child of a Wakandan woman and a Russian man. At birth, he was given the name Nezno. He did not have the most wonderful childhood because he had an absent father and an abusive mother. Nezno's father was a mutant, and when he was in Wakanda, he had an affair with a woman. Nezno's mother was completely unaware of his mutant abilities, and she eventually got pregnant with Nezno. However, Nezno's father had already left Wakanda before he was even born, and after giving birth to him, Nezno's mother found out about his mutant X gene and realized that his father had passed it on to him. Now, as a woman who highly appreciated her culture, she saw fault in her child and refused to accept Nezno. She believed that due to his X gene, he could never be considered a true Wakandan, and therefore did not deserve any respect or love from her. As a result of this, Nezno suffered throughout his childhood. His mother soon married a Wakandan man, but that made his life even more difficult because this man would abuse his mother, and as a consequence of that, his mother would constantly beat him up and abuse him, both physically and mentally. Soon after, his mother abandoned him at the royal court of Wakanda, which is the home of the chieftain of the nation. This probably increased his abandonment issues even further because he had never received the love of a father or a mother since the beginning of his life. He was never even shown any kindness to cope with the abandonment of his father. Instead, all he got was more torture for having the mutant X gene, something that he did not even ask for. His physical suffering might have ended when his mother left him, but it gave him a permanent mental scar that he would carry for the rest of his life. And as time went by, his mutant powers began to show, but he had no one to guide him or teach him about his new evolution. During that time, King T'Challa had given the kingdom of Wakanda a new queen when he married Storm, and as it turns out, she was a member of the X-Men, a powerful mutant herself, who went by the name of Storm. She suggested that they send Nezno to the Xavier Institute for Higher Learning. Professor Charles Xavier established this institute for the very purpose of helping and training young mutants to control their powers, so it seemed like the best possible option for young Nezno. Around this time, the repercussions of his childhood struggle began to resurface in the form of constant seizures. It would cause him immense pain, and his condition only kept getting worse. If this continued to happen, there was a risk that he might end up overusing his powers, which would eventually lead to his death by his own hands. So, to prevent that from happening, Nezno's whole body was inked with Vibranium tattoos. Now, at the Xavier Institute, Nezno was unable to fit in with the overly extroverted students. He was one of those shy kids who would not talk to a lot of people and just to keep to themselves. Nezno also used to spend his time meditating a lot instead of interacting with fellow students. In fact, his personality in general was rather calming, and his thoughts and viewpoints also relayed pacifism. Eventually, due to his nature, he was given the codename Gentle. When the young students were put into different X-Men training squads, Gentle became a part of the Storm Squad due to their acquaintance with each other. Now, one time, another student at the Xavier Institute called Blindfold was telling a horror story of a bunch of other students about a mutant sorceress named Ilyana Rasputin and the demon lord called Belasco. Little did they know that they were about to face something quite similar to this horror very soon. The demon lord Belasco ruled a magical realm of demons called the Limbo. This realm is also known as the Other Place, and Ilyana Rasputin used to be an apprentice of Belasco's. When Blindfold finished telling the story, somehow the students along with Gentle got teleported to Limbo. Since it is a place full of demons, they were attacked by them, and fighting them was not an easy thing to do. Despite the students being mutants with exceptional powers, they were still in their learning stage. Unaware of his bravery, Nesno is about to do something that he has never done before. The mutants were soon pitted against Darkchild, Ilyana Rasputin herself, and this is when Gentle finally decided to use his powers for the first time. He was aware of the risks that it entailed, but to save his fellow students, this was something that he had to do. However, when he was trying to save his friend Pixie from a demon called Nastara, he became overwhelmed by the pain and spasms caused by the use of his powers. Eventually, when they all returned to school just like Pixie, everyone else was also surprised to see the extent of Gentle's powers. But the sad part is that the more that he uses his powers, the closer it brings him to his death. So it looks like perhaps the Vibranium tattoos are only able to slow down the process and not eliminate it. He was not welcome in Wakanda. Nesno and Queen Aurora returned to Wakanda after the X-Men was disbanded. For all of his life, Nesno has only wished for one thing, and that is to be accepted and understood by his people. After arriving at Wakanda, the Queen got him checked out by the doctors, who declared that his condition had gotten worse during this time in the United States. As a result, he needed to get more Vibranium tattoos. It seems like the more that he tries to become like a normal Wakandan, the further away he goes. While Gentle was in Wakanda, he found out about the existence of his half-brother, Nabaku. He met the boy for the first time when he saved him from a truck. Eventually, before meeting his mother, Nesno hoped that she would finally embrace and accept him after spending so many years apart. But even that wish did not come true. She still did not accept him as a true Wakandan and wanted nothing to do with him. The others had not changed either. They still questioned his character, and it was clear from their behavior that even though Wakanda was Nesno's home, the people did not want him to feel at home. He soon realized that perhaps the only people who treated him like a human being were the ones at the Xavier Institute. Naturally, he missed that part of his life. Consumed by self-hatred and pessimistic thoughts, Gentle's body became a vessel for a being called the Shadow King, and he was possessed. The Shadow King is considered a multiversal manifestation of the dark side of the human consciousness. It used Gentle's body to kill a priest and a soul reader named B'Chaku. As a result, Gentle was arrested and imprisoned. However, there was only one person who believed him to be innocent, and that was Queen Aurora. Through her time with Nesno at the Xavier Institute, she knew that he could never kill another person. But when the Wakandan police showed her the video, it was clear that Nesno had killed that priest. However, she noticed that he winked at the camera, and almost as a hunch, she knew something was wrong. She then went to see Gentle and asked him to blink, and immediately realized that it was different. As a result, she declared him innocent, and the authorities set him free. But this was not the end of his troubles, because soon the Shadow King possessed King T'Challa and had him declared Storm and Gentle as traitors and ordered their execution. It appeared that Gentle had no more fighting spirit left inside of him, as he was ready to accept the punishment for a crime he did not even commit. Luckily, Storm was able to convince him to fight back and escape. Ultimately, the duo succeeded in defeating the Shadow King and saving Wakanda as well as the X-Men. Nesno then chose to go back to America. The unique powers of Gentle. So far, all we know about Gentle's powers is that using them is extremely dangerous for him. Now let us explore the exact extent of these dangerous powers. Primarily, Nesno can enhance and increase the muscle mass of his body, which allows him to grow bigger and also boost his strength almost immediately. Nesno's body is also able to function under any kind of atmospheric pressure. He had successfully stood against Cyclops' Optic Blast and Sentinel Laser Blast. The Marvel Universe has gone so far as to imply that Gentle, at his peak powers, can go up against the Hulk, and that is saying something. Storm has previously stated that Gentle's physical strength is on par with that of Colossus, the brother of Ilyana Rasputin, so this means that he can easily be categorized as Class 100 strength. Although the exact limits of his power are still unknown to us, He saw his extreme strength when he was able to stand and hold his ground in a battle against the Sentinel as well as Predator X. The Vibranium tattoos on Nesno's body have bonded with his flesh, right down to his muscle due to his mutation, and that is how they keep him alive. And when he uses his powers during a battle, his tattoos glow with bright blue, and it sure makes him look magnificent. It helps reduce the constant seizures and tremors that he used to have. But Nesno is aware that it will not be able to save him one day. Gentle's character depicts all of the psychological trauma that a person endures with a childhood like that. At the same time, his character arc also progresses and goes through immense development when he allows others into his life during his time at the Xavier Institute as a student. The most fascinating thing is that his name perfectly aligns with his superhero name. Nesno is a Russian word that means tenderly or gentle, and his surname, Abidemi, is a Yoruba word that means born during a father's absence. Well guys, that is all for today. We hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as we enjoyed making it for you. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.